Why, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want. And today we're actually going to be going through a little bit of a debunk about something that I said in one of my last videos. So you know that video that I was talking about jelly bean sweets in? In that video, I did mention a story about a Chinese mukbanger that's been circulating on YouTube that had passed away from the complications of severe mukbanging through a, basically like a rupture of sorts. So the general story about this chick is that she's a Chinese mukbanger at the age of 24 who had been sent to the hospital after, having stomach bleeding after one of her mukbangs, and then the next day went on, did another mukbang, and she did it with like 22 pounds worth of food, and then happened to have passed away due to a stomach rupture, and there's an autopsy report that says that there was undigested food, a deformed stomach, a severely deformed digestive tract, whatever. Okay, the gist of the story is that somebody, passed away doing a mukbang because they ate themselves to death. Quite literally ate themselves to death. Now, this story, it's actually been fake the whole time. There was no proof to this story whatsoever, and it's just been like a story that for some reason everybody believed on YouTube. And I have to say this, the only reason I know that it's fake is because somebody in my comments section on the last video, by the way, thank you, said, hey, this is fake, and it's been debunked by Sam at every size. So the information from this video is just going to be completely 100% from her. She did a fantastic job researching this topic, and I really encourage that all of you just check out her video. I just want to mention that because I think her content is the only reason that I really could find information on this story to begin with. So I really do appreciate that content. I think you should all check it out and take a look-see pop. I'm going to add my own input because I have a few little perspectives to kind of mix in the pot, and she has her own. So I'd recommend checking out her video as well if you are going to be watching through this one. So anyways, story about the Chinese mukbanger, totally fake. We don't have any actual proof of this mukbanger dying, nor this mukbanger being displayed properly in the articles that had been coming out saying, hey, this person died on live stream. There's no proof of this person's channel whatsoever, or any channels. No TikTok account, no anything pertaining to this Chinese mukbanger that died. There isn't one. There literally isn't any mukbang proof or anything like that from this particular supposed person who has passed away. Instead, it's an accumulation of a few different individuals that have been put up on articles that have no validity, no sources, no actual anything more than just clickbait-isms. They're mainly made by clickbait news sources, and it's just an accumulation of different images all splayed up in these articles supposedly being the same woman. And on top of that, the main image and video of the mukbanger that we all thought had passed actually is a completely different mukbanger who is still alive and well and living her life and doing her thing. There are some people who are saying China's trying to censor it or whatever. I don't think that. Nobody thinks that. I don't think very many people could think that because there is so much content that is put out onto TikTok that would also then be censored. So yeah. But anyways, I recommend if you want a more in-depth breakdown with more information, go check out Sam at Every Size's video. Her research is great. But regarding me kind of explaining this video and the reason why I'm making this video is one, to debunk myself because I really don't like giving this information on my channel. I think that's trash and I should have done more research on the matter. I didn't really think much of it. And then outside of my own failings to actually appropriate a level of evidence to perpetuate such a narrative, I also wanted to mention why this probably was made in the first place, which I can only suspect given that basically clickbait and or media channels, news channels have been the only ones really shilling this, content. I have to say, the only reason that it's been composed is sheerly to just clickbait us and, make us go oh my god, this is crazy. Let me keep on checking out this clickbait news site. It's just clickbait. And it's just so that they can get more views, more clout, get you to, look at their ads or whatever that's on the site, etc. The more traction that these websites get, the more money they can make. And I suspect they just made the content up because it was provocative, or maybe there's some information we don't know, but the likelihood is it was just made up to be more provocative, or a misinterpretation of a series of stories accumulated into one super story. But saying that, that's going to take us looking into autopsy records next, which is what I'm going to be doing kind of further down the line of this evening, because, I got cut from work early and I have a White Claw in my hand, and Yeah, that's a great excuse for me to start looking at stuff about dead people. But outside of that, the one thing I also want to mention, and Sam also does mention this in her video, is why did nobody, including myself, not actually look into this? Not actually, like, you know, actually think before they said anything, you know? Actually try and find evidence to prove, oh my goodness, somebody actually faced a demise through consumption. Why did we all just go along with it? Is it because we all just like to copy each other on YouTube and we hear somebody say something or we see an article on TikTok about something and we just happen to believe it? Is it because we become hypersensitive and more gullible to believe that just because a mukbanger happens to be obese on camera, that we automatically assume, hey, they actually died on camera. Somebody says that and we believe it. I think it has something to do with that. It's some kind of like connotation or something because, you know, when we hear the stories about people who are in the Haze community, the body positivity community, all these other communities, and, you know, then you hear a story about how they unfortunately pass, and they're promoting all this Haze stuff, you're really easily, you know, kind of like, I guess, persuaded to think, oh yeah, this could also happen right here. This mukbanger could have died. They were obese. They could have died eating exponential quantities of food on camera. So I think that has something to do with it. I think we're just being gullible here, and we need to do a little more research on our videos, including myself. But I do actually kind of want to mention something that I find very interesting. I want to mention one more thing, because, you know, outside of that whole mix of us just being idiots and not actually doing our research, not thinking for ourselves, and just being a massive hive mind, and just believing everything we say, like the mortal swine that we are, there's one other thing I kind of want to mention, because every time I've heard this, you know, hearing the fake story about the Chinese mukbanger and hearing people's, like, debunkings of it, and soon the masses of debunkings that are going to be coming out, the one thing that keeps on crossing my mind, a horrific picture of somebody who was actually suffering from a severe stomach rupture, basically. And the result was of, unfortunately, a series of disordered patterns of consumption because they had, like, bulimia. And it resulted in them, unfortunately, at a certain point, not being able to relieve themselves of the food that they ate. They ate an insane amount of food, and they unfortunately passed from a rupture as a result. And this actually can happen when you have that level of, you know, ED type stuff. Sorry guys, my last video talking about EDs got age restricted, so I'm trying to be a little bit more careful. More than, like, not making money, I really just don't want my content to just get, like, suppressed algorithmically and or taken down because I'm a bedroom dweller with no life and this is all I do on the internet. But this whole story has just made me constantly think about that, so I really have to warn, like, there is an importance to trying to find that moderate lifestyle for yourself, not eat disorderly. I really don't believe in doing mukbangs and doing all this other crap, and also I really hope that individuals who are struggling with actual, like, disordered eating, that they get help for themselves. But the other thing I want to mention, because I played false to it this time, is to not just believe everything that you see on the internet, on TikTok, on YouTube. If your most, you know, favorite YouTuber says it, like, I don't know, Ready to Glare, or Michelle McDaniel, or some other YouTuber who says this thing, don't blindly believe them, because we could all be wrong. Like, they're people just like you. So if you have questions towards yourself, questioning your own thoughts, your perspective on reality, you should question everything that they say too, because they could be wrong as well, especially when they just don't have any proof, they just see it on social media. And a lot of the time, these people are right, you know, they say things correctly, they do their research, but every now and then something does slip through the cracks, and that's when you have to start thinking for yourself and questioning these things, which unfortunately I didn't do, and then perpetuated more misinformation into the void that is the internet. So, you know, whatever. Anyways, point being made, that's the point of the video. So this was a pointless point to make. And yeah, so that's the video. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Were you also duped by this, or did you see right through it? Because it went right over my head. I'm very short, so a lot of things go over my head, but at the end of the day, this one completely, like, I did not even realize it, and then I was giving misinformation in a video. So, yeah, sorry about that, but also, yeah, definitely, if you are interested, check out Sam at Every Size's video. I think it's a very good composition of information, a lot more details in that mix. I don't want to just, you know, hawk all her content and whatnot. I think that she has a very good perspective on the matter, so definitely check her out, and, yeah. Like I say in many videos, you know, think for yourselves, don't trust your favorite YouTubers, whatever crap. Anyways, that's the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below, my people, and I hope you all enjoyed. It has been lovely. Slater.